If you know where.
Hi, everybody.
One of the best Mother's Day presents.
We'll get started in just a moment. I am Rabbi Jonah Rank. I'm the president and Rosh Yeshiva of Hebrew Seminary, a rabbinical school for deaf and hearing, and it is my pleasure to have you join us today for some Jewish text study and some Jewish art making, all on Tu B'Av. Today is not yet Tu B'Av. We'll start Tu B'Av this Friday, but we are anticipating this Jewish holiday of love, which is a funny thing because I don't see a lot of Tu B'Av greeting cards in the stores. So what is this holiday? We'll talk a little bit about that and what meaning we can glean from it and what meaning we can apply for it. I'm really excited to be joined today by everybody in the room together here at Sketchpad. Here we have our Beit Midrash. Hebrew Seminary has been here since about 2.5 years ago. And I'm also really excited to be joined today by SHALVA. And I want to thank Jordan Scorpio, who's the Director of Community Education at SHALVA. And I want to thank also Zoe Friedland, from whom we're going to hear a little bit. She's a SHALVA therapist, and she splits her work between individual therapy and community outreach. And I also want to thank Becky Adelberg, who is our Director of Marketing and Development at Hebrew Seminary. If you don't know, by the way, because I've mentioned it a few times, we have little brochures for Hebrew Seminary that are on the table. If you're on Zoom, you can Google us and find out who we are, of course. But we are a rabbinical school that trains students to be able to serve Jews from all different needs and all over the world. We have students, about half our student population is in Chicagoland here. About half is really across the world because that includes not only the United States, but also Uganda and France. So it's exciting to have students really span so many different places. Today's program also, I want to thank Gray Vaughn, our administrative coordinator, who helped set up a lot of the tech needs for today. And I want to thank Rabbi Shari Chen, who's also here, who, of course, makes anything at Hebrew Seminary possible. And I want to thank also JUF, because they gave us a young adult grant so that we could partner today with SHALVA and bring you this program. I believe that might be all the thank yous that are due for this moment, but there'll be plenty of opportunities to say thank you. I'm excited to get started, and for those of you in the room, I normally like to sit in the middle so we can all see each other a little bit better, but I guess I sort of am in the middle today because there's that end and there's this end. So I'll try to lean in a little bit this way, I'll try to look a little bit this way. If you're feeling ignored half the time, let's say I'm doing a good job. So I'm going to try to do my best here. Now, actually, before I sit down, I'm going to just take one thing to pass around, which is a source packet. If you are online and studying with us and you're not getting a source packet and you're not even getting the free lunch, oy vey, I will tell you that you can still get the source packet. I can't do anything about the lunch. You have to provide that. But the source packet itself, you can download it, or you can access if you go to tinyurl.com/WHYTU. That's tinyurl.com/Y2. So we're going to talk a lot today about why is this Tu B'Av and what is Tu B'Av and what's the point of Tu B'Av, because it's actually sort of a recent thing that we talk about Tu B'Av as a Jewish love holiday. We're going to explore some texts that will help us reframe what is Tu B'Av, and we'll also explore not only Jewish texts about what is Tu B'Av, but we'll also make some art that Zoe will lead us in an art-making activity, so that way we can, in ways, validate for ourselves what Tu B'Av means to us personally. I, unfortunately, due to the technological nature of things and the way that sound travels, we will not be able to unmute people who are on Zoom. So please, if you have any questions or some comments of substance or snark, you can type them into the chat. I'll also say, Becky, if you're able to pass around the sign-in sheet in case you didn't sign up to be here, we'd love to be able to keep you posted in the future on what are upcoming events through Hebrew Seminary like today. We'll talk about other events later, but let's get started. If you turn, you don't even have to turn, just stay on page 1 of your source packet. I want to tell you that if you think that there's nothing to know about Tu B'Av, well, you're wrong. But the Talmud tells us 11 things about Tu B'Av. It never calls it the holiday of love. But we're going to study a little bit of what the Talmud does say about what Tu B'Av is. It's going to give us 11 different answers, maybe more. I'm not good at counting, so if you're better at counting, we'll figure it out. But I'd like to sort of go around the room, and I'm so sorry. Can you remind me your name, please? Yes.
Wendy.
Wendy. Wendy, you know, because you're chewing, I'm going to give you a pass. I'm gonna ask Ezra, could you start for us? I'll show you that source 1, page 1. So I'm just going to read the introduction here. That Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, he was a sage who lived some 1900 years ago or so. He said, there have been no days as festive to the people of Israel as the 15th of the Hebrew month Av and Yom Kippur. And if you are shocked by that, let's not talk about Yom Kippur. We'll save it for the sequel to this class. For why is Yom Kippur such a festive day? I can let you come up with your own answers. We'll talk about that another time. But what's this 15th of Av? Like, they didn't even come up with a title for this day of the calendar. They just call it the 15th of Av, which is what Tu B'Av is. It's the 15th of Av. So, Ezra, let's skip the next paragraph, and can you take for us number 1, just read us that one paragraph. Rav Yehuda.
Rav Yehuda said that Shmuel said the 15th of Av is the day on which the tribes were permitted to enter into marriage with one another.
Okay, so pause. Thank you, Ezra. So what did Rav Yehuda say that Shmuel said? What happened on the 15th day of Av in Jewish history?
Tribes were permitted to marry.
Tribes were finally permitted to marry each other. Apparently, if I was from the tribe of Dan or the tribe of Levi or the tribe of Judah, I could only marry people from the tribe of Dan or Levi or Judah or whatever it was. So apparently on the 15th of Av, finally there was greater access granted. You could marry all of these Jews. J-Date had a big uptick that day. Great. And next to Ezra, I'm so sorry, I can't see you very well from here, but what's your name?
Dory.
Dory, can you please read for us where it says number 2? We're going to skip all the meat in the middle. I'm a vegetarian. I should come up with a better. But can you go to number 2 where we get Rav Yosef?
Rav Yosef said that Rav Nachman said the 15th of Av is the day when the tribe of Benjamin was permitted to enter the congregation of Israel for marriage into other tribes. Or it is said, each person among the people, Israel swore at the lookout while at war with Benjamin, saying, let each person among us marry their child as a spouse for the tribe of Benjamin.
Okay, so what happened on the 15th of Av according to Rav Yosef and Rav Nachman? This is a harder one.
Benjamin was permitted to enter the congregation.
So apparently there was one tribe that still didn't have permission to marry into everybody else.
Well, not at the beginning, but it was a later development.
So there seems to be a later development.
So obnoxious.
Yeah, so Chazan, Sarah, Alexander, do you want to just say another quick word on that?
Not particularly.
No, okay. So what's being quoted here from the book of Judges is a time when there was civil war. The book of Judges ends in a very bloody and sad way where there's civil war between the people of Israel, and the tribe of Benjamin seems to be the one that's causing all the ruckus. The details of it we're not going to get too deep into right now, but let's go. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Because of the Civil War, it was because of their terrible treatment of the guest and the concubine.
Right, so there was a whole concubine who was, the concubine who was terribly mistreated, and Benjamin sort of offered not to take any responsibility, though it took place in their territory. So that led to a civil war. So on the 15th of Av, apparently the Civil War stopped mattering enough that people stopped being mad at each other, and they could finally marry into the tribe of Benjamin. And thank you so much, Dory, for reading. And is that, Lindy, are you over there next to?
I'm here.
Okay, can you read for us number 3 in the bottom right of the page, Rabba Barbar Chana?
Rabbi Barbar Chana said that Rabbi Yochanan said, the 15th of Av is the day when those Israelites dying in the wilderness cease.
Okay, so there was a time, what's being described here? What else happened on the 15th of Av?
That the Israelites in the desert who couldn't enter the land, finally the generation stopped dying.
Great.
Whether it was all the generation or some of them actually were redeemed.
Okay, great. So there's this, there were various times in the Torah when we are told that the Israelites kept on, they were being punished and they were going to die and they were going to die out because they didn't listen well. But on the 15th of Av, that's when the mass dying of the Israelites apparently stopped. By the way, this doesn't yet sound like a holiday of love. The first two sounded a little bit like a holiday of love. I mean, one in love in a time of civil war, and one just sort of in a nice time, let's say. But what I skipped, and I skipped it purposefully. But if you read all the little things in number 1, you might remember the story of the daughters of Tzlofchad. Tzlofchad has no sons, and he dies, and he doesn't know what, and his daughters, he's got 5 daughters, they don't really know what to do with the land. And in this moment when women were granted a little bit more land rights and a little bit more property, at this point, there's greater integration of the different tribes with each other. So that's sort of a cool thing. Let's turn, though, to number 4 on page 2. So on page 2, number 4, and Lex, because you're eating, you get a pass. Elisa, do you want to read for us number 4, what Ula said?
Sure. Ula said, the 15th of Av is the day when the 19th and final northern Israelite king, Moshe ben Elah, who reigned circa 732 to 722 BCE, annulled the Praesidiae.
Yeah, the Praesidiae. It's a Latin word.
Yeah.
Keep going, yeah.
That the first king of northern Israel, Yeroboam ben Nebat, who is reported to have reigned for some 23 years near the very end of the 10th century BCE, had established a pathway so that the people of Israel would not arrive for a pilgrimage to Jerusalem exclusively. Rather, that King Hoshea said that to whichever sacred location they would want, they should ascend. Okay, because, and thank you, Elisa. I'm sorry that the Talmud not only doesn't speak in English, but when you translate it into English, you have to translate it into English about 5 more times. So the upshot, I'm not gonna quiz people on this one. I'm just gonna tell you that the upshot here is that apparently King Hoshea, who was like the last king of northern Israel, the whole thing fell apart after him. King Hoshea decides that he's going to remove the people who are set up around Israel, whose job it was to say, you can worship anywhere you want to. King Hoshea lives in this time when finally there's this idea that there's only one place that the Jewish people should be worshiping, and that place is the temple in Jerusalem. So the 15th of Av is when he removes the guards that he set up around the northern kingdom to say, you want to daven anywhere, you can daven anywhere. You make a sacrifice anywhere you want to. There's a lot of nice altars around here. So, great. And by the way, feel free to stop me if you have questions or concerns, because I know we're going through this in a little bit fast forward, but I want to save time for some fun art also. And I'm sorry, I feel like we've met before. Can you please remind me your name? Sharon Schwartz.
Sharon, so nice to meet you, Sharon. Or re-meet, one or the other. Can you read for us number 5, please?
Rab Masna said, the 15th of Av is the day when those killed at Beitar were given over to burial. So for the Bar Kokhba, 132 to 136.
Great.
By the way, I just want to note, you might have already captured this, that it's like, there are all these things that happen on Tu B'Av, but different years. So it's one of these days that builds importance. So like, I got married on the yortzeit of my somebody. It was meaningful. It was one of my in-laws' parents. There were a lot of yortzeits on the same day, and then we got married on it, and it was also my in-laws' anniversary, so it was nice. It wasn't quite Tu B'Av, like it wasn't in the Talmud or anything, but it was nice. So it was a very chashuv day. So there's this Bar Kokhba revolt that happens around the year 132, 136, it ends. And this is the Jews trying to gain independence from the Romans, and there were all these people, all these Jews who were killed at Beitar, one of these great places in Israel. And what happens is that finally they get to be buried on Tu B'Av. Things calmed down on Tu B'Av. Okay, and thank you, Sharon. And I feel like it's not Lydia. I'm so sorry. Can you remind me your name, please? Lisa. Okay. Lisa, can you please read for us number 6?
Furthermore, Rosh Yeshiva said on the same day when those killed at Tar were given over to burial, they established at Yavne.
Yeah, Yavne. That's where the rabbis built their great civilization, and they created the Mishnah and all these great rabbinic books. Keep going.
That one should recite the blessing. Blessed are you, Adonai, good and who does good. In the prayer after eating a satisfying meal, who is good? That it was good that those corpses did not smell bad. And who does good references that those corpses were given to bury.
Great. So thank you so much, Lisa. So Rav Matna says that not only was there burial on this day, but the Jews came up with 2 blessings that day. And those are blessings that Jews commonly recite in Birkat Hamazon, the blessing recited after a meal. When we say Baruch Atah Adonai Hatov or Baruch Atah Adonai Hatov V'Hametiv, sorry. My mind has gone to a total blank, but trust me on this. Hatov V'Hametiv. Okay, I'm going to have a meeting with myself later. But for the meantime, just trust me, this is in Birkat Hamazon, and apparently it comes from kind of a gross place, but an important thing. So there was some dignity granted and more blessings granted to the Jewish people. So that was quite a year. Jordan, can you please read for us number 7?
Yes. It is that both Rabbah and Rav Yosef would say the 15th of Av is the day when they cease chopping trees to gather wood for the arrangement at the altar in the Temple of Jerusalem.
Great. So you think of an altar, or no, don't think of an altar, think of a barbecue grill, okay? Now imagine that the barbecue grill is made out of wood, and you got to chop trees in order to get that altar going. So this was the day when they finally ceased chopping wood. And I'm not sure if this means that it was every year that it was 15th of Av and now it's a bad tree season, or does, yeah.
I read a commentary on that said it was because after that the sun was weaker and the trees wouldn't dry properly.
You didn't just read a commentary on that, you read number 8. So, so I don't know, I actually feel comfortable skipping number 8 at this point, but we'll just say that, yeah, the sun grows weaker. So they stopped. So it wasn't just any commentary. That was the Talmud. Great. Chazan Alexander, how about you read for us number 9, though? Okay.
Okay. Rav Menashe said they called this day the Day of the Broken Scythe.
Okay. So I don't know why they call it the Day of the Broken Scythe. I think that they might mean an axe. I don't know what the difference between a scythe and an axe is. I think one is curvier. Is anyone here a scythe or axe expert? No. Okay. Anyone on Zoom? Any experts in axes or scythes? No. Okay.
Scythes has a narrow curved blade at the end.
Yeah, I think it's. like a hook, I think.
Almost like a hook. They're good, we're more for grain, less for, and not for trees.
Okay, sure. And I'll also say, I don't even know how to pronounce the word side. I think it's side, but I don't know. Is it ski? So side, okay. So they called this day apparently the Day of the Broken Sides, maybe because they're no longer doing all the chopping. So it's like, well, what good is my axe at this point? So the axe is broken. Is that Rafi, is that your name? Okay. Rafi, can you please read for us number 10?
Sure. From here, on the 15th of Av and onward, one who adds sanctity to one's life will add reward to one's life. And one who does not add sanctity to one's life will be gathered. What is meant by one who does not add sanctity to one's life will be gathered? Rabbi Yosef said, one's mother will bury that individual.
Okay. Let's, we'll actually, we'll turn the page, but, so there's this teaching. It's unclear exactly what the teaching means, but it's sort of like if you do more good, then more good will happen to you. If you stop doing more good, then more bad is going to happen to you. And the rabbis come up with a very, sad interpretation that you might be someone whose parent buries you, which is a terrible tragedy and something that many of us may have seen in our lifetimes, which is it's always harsh when that happens. Hostages, of course. There's so many cases where this takes place, and it's always a tragedy. But let's move on to number 11. This is on page 3. So page 3, we're looking at number 11, and we're going to see what Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel has to say. And this is where we're going to start getting into what we think Tu B'Av might actually be. Becky, I know you're working hard. Do you want to take it, or do you want to pass it? Okay.
I can do it.
Yeah.
How long is it?
Oh, just read us the
okay.
paragraph, and then we'll move forward.
Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel said, there have been no days as festive to the people Israel as the 15th of the Hebrew month Av, or Yom Kippur. For on those days the daughters of Jerusalem would emerge in borrowed white clothes, so as not to embarrass those who did not have any white clothes.
Okay, so this is interesting, because until you start reading about, there was like this clothing exchange program, it just sort of sounds like this happy dancing day. But there seems to be something else going on that the rabbis are really interested in. They're really interested in the borrowing of clothes. We're going to talk about clothes borrowing. I'm sorry I don't know your name, but
Aaron.
Aaron, is that right? Aaron, can you please read for us the next paragraph?
Okay. So our rabbis in the years leading to the editing of the Mishnah taught, even though these words are not in the Mishnah, the daughter of a king would borrow from the daughter of the high priest. The daughter of the high priest would borrow from the daughter of the vice high priest.
Did you know that was a position? Keep going.
The daughter of the vice high priest would borrow from the daughter of the priest, anointed for wartime as a religious leader alongside the troops.
So think of a military chaplain, but less emotionally available. But keep going.
The daughter of the priest, anointed for wartime as a religious leader alongside the troops, would borrow from the daughter of a common priest without any special assignment above other priests. All of the people Israel would borrow from one another so that they would not embarrass one who did not have any white clothing.
Okay, let's pause for a moment. Is there anything that shocks you about this paragraph that we just read, or intrigues you or surprises you in any way? And I'm so sorry, can you please remind me? Wendy, thank you, Wendy.
It's interesting to note that the daughter of the high priest would loan clothes to the daughter of a king, who is presumably the highest, wealthiest person with the most status, and then the daughter of the high priest would borrow from someone who's presumably lower than her, the vice.
Right.
And the vice would borrow from the daughter of the general or the admiral, so that everybody would get an opportunity to know what it's like to wear different kinds of clothing that maybe they don't usually buy or maybe they can't usually afford, and bring a real sense of community and unity to things, because that's truly how you build a community and walk in someone else's shoes.
Great. So I'm going to just say one thing. So I'm always amazed by the people who fill out crossword puzzles with a pen. because you're really dedicating to being right about something. And when you wear white, when you're eating really easy to stain food, you're also being really brave. I think that there are a lot of ways of showing your courage in life, and it's interesting that the daughter of the king, who presumably has the most resources available to her, she's borrowing from someone who may be actually a little lower on the totem pole of Israelite society, and then that person is borrowing from place number 3, and number 3 is borrowing from number 4. Like, they're not going up the food chain. They're kind of going down the food chain, because it seems that it's actually really hard to hold on to white clothing. It's very easy to stain white clothing, and it's very easy for us to say that actually maybe there isn't really a top. Maybe there's something a little bit more leveling about this whole thing.
But this is also a way to make sure nobody gets embarrassed.
And it's a way to make sure that no one gets embarrassed, too.
Like causing a death in Judaism.
Right, great. And Chazan Alexander?
And if I'm talking too much, please stop me, I tend to talk.
Okay.
But, so yeah, I mean, you're right about making people, understand a little bit of humility. But I also wanted to point out that even though white to us seems like how hard is that to keep clean, it wouldn't have been a bright white like Wendy's, even like Wendy's shirt. It would have been kind of a dirty sheep white.
Mm-hmm.
Like an off-white.
Like an off-white, and that actually was one of the easiest things to bleach clean.
Mm.
So white clothing historically was, you wouldn't wear it for your, your yard work, but fine dyes were actually much more expensive. So white clothing would be something that even the poorest person could afford.
Huh, that's very interesting. Thank you. And, Lindy?
Interested in this idea of like the undercurrent of anxiety about shame, just in terms of like, I wouldn't say coercive, that sounds too harsh, but like this fear of being too individuated, like in a community, and like this push to avoid feeling shame by like modeling each other. No, I find really interesting.
We still do that today.
Yeah, thank you, Lindy.
And even super religious.
Yeah, thank you, Wendy. And go ahead, Zoe.
Yeah, I mean, I would even add that what I thought about was honoring and preserving the dignity of there's dignity in being able to contribute, and there's value in being able to offer something. And I think, especially in a community where we are constantly thinking about like charity and how we give to those who are less fortunate, that creates a relationship for those people. Those people where they are only ever receiving, they are only ever taking, and this to me feels like, okay, but also how are you, like, there is honor in being able to contribute to your community.
The dignity of giving, it's a big deal. And Becky, go ahead.
I was just thinking about the white in general, like the white clothing, and when else do we do that, holiday-wise? So like, well, there's been so much talk about in here with like Yom Kippur, which I never thought about with Tu B'Av, which is interesting.
It's for purity to be, is that?
So it might be a purity thing. It's not telling us it is, it's not telling us it isn't, but,
But when else, I guess Shabbat maybe would be the only other time I think is there any other time where white clothing is like specifically?
So today there are a lot more practices about wearing white, many of which I advise against, like a lot of people wear a white kittel, this long, to a Pesach Seder. That I would never advise anyone to do, because that's 4 glasses of wine, that's 4 stains at least.
Yeah,
so
at your wedding.
Right, a wedding, right, so there are all these different moments, and sometimes when we pray for rain, or when we pray for dew, for Geshem or for Tal, during the 3 festivals.
The idea of borrowing, is not something to be ashamed of. I think you kind of alluded to that, and how borrowing and being in debt to people in modern culture is considered like such a horrible thing, but actually if you go back to ancient times, it was very normal. People were very accustomed to that, and so this is like, of course you would borrow from people, and that creates a sense of even community, which today it was like, debt is a horrible thing.
Sure.
So it's a different concept.
Interesting.
Great.
High priest used
Sure, yeah.
So,
There's a lot of white on the high priest's outfit.
yeah.
And
I thought also of, like love and white and being at your core, it's like your core. That's where you start, you know? And it's like, when you're born, it's like, at your core, love and pure and.
Right, it feels like a blank slate
Yeah.
sometimes, like you start with a canvas that's white when you're gonna go painting. So, there's so much to say about this, and I wanna be very, mindful of the time, because I know Zoe's got some good stuff for us.
Yeah, but we can.
You were building,
Yeah.
okay. So, this is for Zoe's sake. So, I wanna scroll down a little bit to, if you can see, okay, left side, bottom of the page, 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs up. It's a short paragraph. It just says that the daughters of Israel would emerge and dance in the vineyards. Okay, this is part of Tu B'Av, that there are all these Jewish girls dancing in the vineyards. And some teacher from the years leading up to the editing of the Mishnah, so this was like maybe 2,000 years ago, that someone, that we don't know who, that if a man had no wife, they would turn towards towards the women who were dancing in the white clothes. And now let's read the most powerfully related among those. So, is there someone who didn't get it?
I can read.
Yeah, Zoe, how about you read the most powerfully related?
The most powerfully related among those women would say, young man, lift your eyes and see what you are filtering for yourself.
Okay, filtering here means choosing. Like, you're filtering out your options. Like, well, I'm not gonna go for the tall ones, I'm gonna go for the short ones, I'm gonna go for just the ones who are blonde. I don't know, like, I don't know what they're going for. But they're filtering out their options. People do that on J-Date, I think. See, it all comes back together. Let's go, Wendy, can you take us the next one?
Sure. Our rabbis taught, what would the most beautiful among them say? Give your eyes over to beauty, for a woman is nothing but beauty.
Which I just want to clarify, I don't believe, but you can keep going.
What would the most related among those say? Give your eyes over to family, for a woman is nothing but for children.
Which I'm going to clarify, I also don't believe, but keep on going.
What would the ugliest among them say? Buy your purchase for the sake of heaven, so that you will adorn us with gold.
Okay, so the last one was more confusing than the other two, because you don't hear people say that one a lot. That, you know, go, I mean, maybe you do, because I think that what they're saying is,
Depends how much time you spend.
well, it's like, do your business honestly, because I really want to have that golden whatever, you know, this in the marketplace. None of these are really positive depictions of women in a feminist light, let's say. But these are all things that this text is written by men, so I don't know if this is honest reporting, but each of these categories of women, which, again, there must be more kinds of women than just ugly and well-related and pretty, right? There's so many different ways of being a human, but the rabbis imagine every category of person having some selling point, but not just a selling point, but actually having some reason that they belong with somebody and that they have some compelling message that persuades someone that they're worth being together as some unit, which is this interesting idea. And for the sake of time, what I want to do is I want to turn the page. I'm going to read you source 2 quickly, which is that, because we're going to do just a real quick bit of math here. Rabbi Eliezer taught on the 25th day of Elul, which is the last month of the Jewish calendar, the universe was created. So we've got the 25th day of Elul, okay? Now, if you go to source 3, if you go to the bottom paragraph of source 3, the bottom paragraph is going to tell us that Rav Yehuda would say, that Rav said, a heavenly voice emerges 40 days prior to the creation of an embryo and says, the daughter of so-and-so should get married to such and such a person. And the house of so-and-so should become the property of such and such a person, and the field of so-and-so should become the property of such and such. So there's this idea that 40 days before something big happens, there is going to be some divine voice that declares that this should be. the God I believe in doesn't really control the destiny of the universe necessarily, but I think that there's something powerful about the idea that God may at least sometimes weigh God's hand in on the events of our lives, and that some of these things may be ordained 40 days beforehand. So we're not going to read it too closely right now, but if we were to read it closely, you'd see that source 4 comes from a Hasidic master about 200 years ago. He wrote in his book, B'nai Yisachar, that if you do the math of the 25th of Elul, what was happening 40 days before that? Tu B'Av. So Tu B'Av is this day when not only did all the 11 things that we read about happen, and not only were matches made, but also the idea that we would get to exist was decided by God. God gave us and gave existence and the universe purpose on Tu B'Av, and 40 days later, finally created the world, which I think is a really powerful idea of what it means to think about partnership. Because, I mean, yes, there is love at first sight, and there are crazy people like myself who decide after about a week or so that they're going to get married, but usually it takes a little bit of time for people to decide, like, is this the right person? Maybe it's a year, maybe it's a few months, maybe it's 3 years or 7 years, I don't know. People have different times. But there's this idea that divine purpose and even spiritual and personal private purpose can be discovered, and we decide that we're going to create universes. And Tu B'Av is this day to accept the purposes that we're driven towards, and is this day for us to accept it all with love. So with this, I apologize to the Zoomers. I said I'd face you about half the time. I think I got about 5% in. But Zoe, I'm happy to turn over to you and get up some, I'll let you speak and do your thing. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I love Torah study, so this has been a really exciting experience for me. Before I kind of dive into this activity, I do just want to introduce myself and explain a little bit about SHALVA and who we are. And I'm going to refer to my notes. I'm going to cheat a little bit because I need to. So I will say that we are the oldest Jewish domestic violence agency in the country. We were founded in 1986. And our services, we provide counseling and limited legal support services for people who are experiencing domestic abuse and navigating the emotional and the complex process of those relationships. We are not here to offer for like a prescriptive answer to people, but we are here to be a guiding and listening voice with an understanding of the dynamics that exist in these relationships from a Jewish lens and with a culturally competent and understanding space. I would also say that that's what we provide from the clinical side. We also have a lot of outreach work that we do. I am really lucky in my role that I get to be both a therapist and an outreach coordinator. I get to do things like this, and I also work with individual clients. So our outreach is really focused on understanding healthy relationships, learning how to talk about them, how to create healthy dynamics within your relationships. Jordan, I'm going to shout out Jordan for a second. Jordan is the leader and the leading force behind 7 Circles, which is our, I always struggle to describe it. It's our like couples, self-led couples program. So it's 7 individual date nights that you can do self-guided with your partner to explore questions about your relationship, and it's really fantastic. I definitely, like, if you have any questions, please ask me or Jordan about that. That is one of, I think, the coolest things that we have at SHALVA.
Why is it called 7 Circles?
So some of it is that tradition of, walking around 7 times at the wedding.
Okay.
And it's 7 sections, you know, the number 7 is very important to use. And a circle, the idea that, you know, learning about your partner and deepening your relationship is a forever thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really designed to like help couples who are hoping to deepen their connection or prep for whatever the next step is, whether that's marriage or moving in together or whatever that is, to understand one another and like give you the tools to understand one another and also communicate. I think that it's that's one of my favorite parts about it. So
Can we find that on the website?
yeah, it's available on our website. There's also 7 Circles.
7circlesjourney.org is the like official website for it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good resource to have.
Yeah, no, it's, and also always feel free to reach out to me or Jordan. We'll have our emails available, if you have more questions about that. Does anyone, also I will want to note to anyone on Zoom, our services are only available to, residents in Illinois, but we are available to any resident in Illinois. We have a 24-hour helpline, and, we're here if you want to call to talk about your relationship, to talk about something that you're worried about, just to understand something, even if it's not, it doesn't have to be an emergency to call and ask questions.
And it doesn't have to be abuse.
It doesn't have to be abuse. I mean, if you have questions, we can assess for whether or not it is, right? That's, if you're not sure what the relationship is and you're confused about why does it feel like this, we can help help you understand what is the feeling that you're experiencing. Does anyone have any questions?
Can you repeat the 7 Circles website, please?
Yeah, it's 7circlesjourney.org. Thank you. You can find it on our website too.
Yeah.
And it shows up on.
Sorry, for the ASL interpreter, is it the number 7 or is it spelled out?
Great question, spelled out.
So I'm gonna start passing around. We have lots of art supplies. So please take some items and pass them around. We're gonna be, I mean, this is kind of like Jewish Valentine's Day, right? So we are going to be taking this time to talk about the way, yeah, thank you. The feelings and the experiences that you have in your relationship. And I wanted to take a little bit of inspiration from, I'm so sorry, it's like sneaking by everyone. This dress is flowy.
But it's very tuba.
It's very tuba, yeah.
Flowy, you know.
And by the way, in my personal time, I make clothing, and I am very, like, I love to make things. I've made multiple items that I'm wearing, so I was loving to talk about clothing and how it's shared. It was very interesting to me. But I have 2 kind of thoughts that I wanted to start with as we begin this activity. One was the Rabbi Jonah's comment about the guiding divine voice, right? The feeling of a voice that is leading you towards where you are meant to be and towards the people who are meant to love you and care for you. And so the first question that I would ask is, who in your life do you feel like has been guided there for you or is a guiding force for you? And if anyone wants to share, if you want to share, I would love it. You don't have to.
I think, I really like my rabbi. Rabbi Ari Hart. Pretty amazing.
What do you feel like has been something that has made him feel like that, like a guiding voice for you?
So we're an Orthodox congregation, and he sort of wants to break the mold on how Orthodox shoals do things. He went to Hovevei Zion, Avi Weiss's yeshiva, to get his rabbinic ordination, and that's a very liberal place, and they now ordain women as well, and he is interested in not just affecting the membership of Skokie Valley, but also the greater community as well. Two things that really come to mind are the fact that actually three. We have a second rabbi at the congregation who just heads up SOLU, which is our social work organization. Like, Skokie Valley started its own social chesed organization, and they go all over the place. They go to the south side, and they do stuff with Rohingya refugees. All of that is very unusual for the Orthodox community and even for the Jewish community at large, to mix with other ethnic groups. After October 7th, there was a little boy in central Illinois who was murdered by a white racist, and Rabbi Hart and the rabbi of Solu both went to his funeral. And the third thing that sticks out to me right now is that we are starting the first love fridge, the first kosher love fridge in the country, and it's in memory of Hirsch Goldberg Poland, whose aunt and uncle are members of Skokie Valley. So,
those are really beautiful.
Yeah.
Like demonstrating the way that you want to see people move through the world.
Be the change you want to see in the world. He really exemplifies that on a Jewish level, on a Yiddishkeit level, on a human being level, on a I feel very lucky to have that resource in Skokie.
Are there other voices that come to mind for people?
Yeah, the first that came to mind was my mother. She, not only was she a Jewish educator before I became one, she was my first teacher both at home and also at Torah school. But as many wonderful lessons that she taught verbally, I would say more so she did through action, similar to your rabbi, I would say. The way that she treats other people exemplifies Jewish values and human values to me. The fact that even when I was doing stupid stuff in high school, as we all did, and, you know, she was always there to support, not always endorse, but support, in a really profound way that allowed me to feel like I could trust in a way that a lot of teens and young adults can't trust their parents, or they feel like they're going to be judged or misled. Like, one of her catchphrases, and there were many, one of her catchphrases growing up was, "I don't have to like what you do to love you." And that, to me, is like parenting 101. And as my husband and I are approaching the stage in our lives where we're thinking about the possibility of children and so on and so forth, I'm thinking a lot about my mom and how she still to this day shows up in that, not always endorsing, but very much supportive way, and helps me guide myself instead of pointing me in the path that she wants me to go down. She has always helped me find my own path in a loving, supportive way.
That's important.
So I want to thank you. That was really, really beautiful, and I want to actually use that to transition to the other piece that I was thinking about, which was the number 4, where it says that they had established upon pathways so that the people of Israel would not arrive for a pilgrimage to Jerusalem exclusively. Rather, they said that to whichever they would wish to ascend, right? And that the democratization of prayer and of choice and that speaks to what you're speaking about your mom. I mean, we have limited time, I'm gonna be honest, but this is here to offer a reflection space for you to create a Valentine for this person. It's not something that you necessarily have to give to them, but to honor the guidance that they have brought to you in your life and what you feel like you have learned from it. So I'm gonna let people we can keep talking, but I'm also gonna let people start to make as we talk, because sometimes that also is important. Does anyone have any thoughts or questions?
Can I?
Yeah. So feel free to jump in. Anyone have any?
So it doesn't need to be for someone living.
No, it doesn't need to be, it can be for yourself even. What are and maybe it's a letter, it doesn't have to be visual. I'm a visual person, but I know that that's not what everyone feels. But I really do encourage you in this to just start putting your pen or your whatever on the paper and see what comes out. It doesn't have to be anything perfect or special, but just start to play for a few minutes.
And I'll just add, one of the things that people really love about our Seven Circles program is we really emphasize gratitude. And research shows with relationships, expressing gratitude is the thing that keeps relationships healthy and loving over time, and it doesn't just have to be a relationship with any. And so if you are thinking of a person who's with us, who you can call or talk to or give a hug to, and offer some gratitude to them, we know how good it feels when someone does that to us. And so thinking of those ways to do that for the people we care about is always a lovely thing to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we're gonna take 5 minutes to kind of get started, and then I'll check back in. And I also, the line is still open for talking. I'm a talk while doing type of person, so if anyone has thoughts while they're doing it, but also I totally respect just locking in. That's a good question.
Yeah. We wish people a happy Tu B'Av.
There's no law against it, so.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you can greet anyone any way you want to. So.
You said there's a lot against it?
Oh, sorry, no, sorry. There's no law against.
Oh, no law against it.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
If you can find a lot against it, let me know.
Okay. Well, because we were talking about Yom Kippur, and there's different ways to greet people on Tisha B'Av.
Sure.
Rules about greeting people, and two other
Right, sure.
traditions about greeting people. So.
Sure.
After learning so much today, I'm fascinated that it's such a minor Jewish holiday.
Yeah.
It feels so important.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm biased a little.
Yeah.
No, the last piece we were talking about, this is the 40 days before the earth was created, that feels so significant.
Yeah.
Right.
But Purim is the most fun holiday, and people don't celebrate that very much either. So,
Is it minor in Israel though? Or is it I mean, I think
There's probably sales.
yeah. It's like Valentine's
it's a
Day.
big deal on the Upper West Side, I'll tell you that.
But I also really love
A sale.
what you said about a day to accept purposes and live, and to your point, Rabbi Jonah, about there's no, it's not fate, it's not like it's fated, but rather it's a voice that is providing you with an idea or with guidance. A lot of what we talk about in our work at SHALVA is understanding how to trust your gut and listening to a feeling when something doesn't feel safe or good, and how difficult that can be in general. Like, that's a difficult skill to learn, and I'm thinking a lot about that guiding voice in this day. About, like, what does it mean to feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, or this is who I'm supposed to be with, or things like that.
Yeah. 7 circles. And hanging out one day, and she's SHALVA. What have you been up to? Shana? Like how long it's been? 10 years?
Much the same, still living in the same spot.
Oh, really?
I don't know why I can never remember her name, but I never can.
Have a dog.
Oh, yeah. I'm just gonna say that we're gonna take a few more minutes, and
Probably, Amsterdam, not everything else. Yeah, a little too smart. Cute guy. The panda puppy.
Transformers, I think.
yeah, I'm familiar, but I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah. And I spoke distantly to Evie Davis. I had heard that she had helped start it. I don't know exactly how. It was interesting to hear about the history like that.
Our history is really interesting. It was founded by 13 Orthodox women, who saw a need.
Yeah.
I do want to just say that we are
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Are we scheduled to be out of this room?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it was really, well, we were in Mexico, so that was really nice.
Yeah. So, if I can bring everyone just attention for a second, we have about 5 minutes left, which, you know, this is always what happens, right? It's never enough time, but I would encourage you to turn to the person next to you and just share what you created, if you feel comfortable, so that we can all get the chance to discuss what we made. And so just take about a minute right now and turn to the people next to you.
And also, there's no rush to get out of here, so if people, like, the space is free, like, no one booked the space later today, so if you want to continue and slowly finish and enjoy your time, that's welcome to.
Thank you. Yeah, so take a few minutes to turn to the person next to you and share what you've created.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell me that?
So, I'll just show you that, Donna may have never.
I'm guessing it's them too, and I'm hi.
Her name is Ray.
That's a lovely name. Thank you.
And the cover, great show.
Great name.
So, anyways.
And then I wasn't right in the.
My back, and some music that she, so. And also she composes music.
Incredible that you know the.
What you got going on?
A little bit, yeah, I mean, I'm a musician.
Yes, Sarah.
Multitasking, so.
But,
But,
like some interpretation.
Right, so what, just symbolize, like,
Yeah. And
string instruments, like
another one, the other reference.
trumpet and a few others.
Clearly, I'm one of the reference
Didn't make anything.
that I had heard.
If I say it,
Herbal reference
I would have called my friend, phone or something, but then we're all like switching clothes.
my very, very best.
Yeah, sometimes I do.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, you're on the page.
I did. I created a newsletter, because I made that out, and maybe for
And I was gonna,
I could do that, yeah. Hopefully I'll bring it back, actually. Like I made my mother a Valentine, like I used to when I was a tiny child.
after his wife
She
died.
doesn't Hebrew, so I wrote it, and, well, she does, but not without vowels. I couldn't remember vowels.
I couldn't. And so.
Do you want to say before I bring it?
Yeah, probably, but it's spelled it right, so I can go over it.
Right.
Like hearing all the feedback from the teacher, like, pick up my hand. Thank everybody for coming today. So, I've never tried.
Come back together.
Bell campaign.
Very nice.
Play around with it. I just want to thank everybody. Thank you again so much for coming today. I realized I neglected to thank Lex Dorfman and Jay Rich, who really run Sketchpad, which keeps the space running. I should have thanked you all at the beginning, but the gratitude is eternal. You've given Hebrew Seminary a wonderful home. I do want to say, the last thing we're going to ask you to do, like you should do, is on the packet, you can see that there is a QR code on the bottom of page 5. So you can scan that QR code, and if you can fill out a survey, just to let us know what you thought of today's program, and then you can go back to having fun. But, you know, if you can just fill out the survey and tell us a little bit of what you thought of today, that would be really helpful for us, and it'll help JUF to sponsor more programming like we had today. And thank you again to Jordan and to Zoe for and all of SHALVA for making today possible, and to Becky and everybody who's made today possible from Hebrew Seminary. I'm sure that Zoe and Jordan would be happy to talk with you more, and Becky and I don't know, Becky, your schedule, I'm certainly happy to talk with folks. If they have questions about Hebrew Seminary, what's the rabbinical school like, you can also ask Ezra, because they're almost done with it. They're graduating soon. I'm not announcing the date yet, but soon.
Sometime in 2026.
Yeah, so we're getting there. So anyway, we would, what's that?
Oh, one more. I just wanted to say, so this is part of, not connected, but kind of 3 programs that Federation has generously given us a grant for. The second one is, last year was the first time we did it. It's called Zilcharim, We Remember, and it's a Trans Day of Remembrance Memorial Program, and it was really beautiful last year. We're doing it again on Trans Day of Remembrance, November 20th. It will be at Anshe Emet this year. Several partners are involved.
In and around Chicago.
Yeah.
Anshe Emet, Temple Shalom, Or Chadash, Keshet, Svara.
Makom Shalom Mitzvot.
Yeah.
Makom Shalom Mitzvot.
Lots of partners. Yeah.
We have a lot of partners that are coming together. So if you're part of a community that's not yet attaching itself to a Trans Day of Remembrance event, we invite you to bring it into a Jewish context with us too.
Yeah. And there's a lot of like breakout learning, and then some combined prayer options, and really beautiful event. And then we're also going to do a Hanukkah program, which our date is not confirmed yet. We'll let you know.
if we signed up for today, are we on the list?
Yes. Okay. But we don't spam a lot, so don't worry.
No, I mean, when we get updates about that.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Thank you, Becky.
So if you fill out the survey, then feel free to keep sticking around, keep on eating, keep on chatting. Be delighted to get to know you all. Thank you for studying with us today and for learning and for making art together.
Thank you.
Thank you.